everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about my favorite reads of 2023. You guys, this video has been daunting me. It has been like, I don't want to film it, and I don't know why. And I think the reason why is because 2023 for me was a mediocre year. Honestly, like, I read some books that I liked, but all of them kind of felt like honorable mentions. I made a list of 23 favorites for 2023. And then as I was like about to film, I was like, you know what? I don't even remember the details of that book. So should I really be calling it a favorite? No. So I'm going to tell you about my favorites. And these are the books that have stuck with me throughout the year. Again, I don't know that I found any all-time favorites in 2023, but these are the ones that stuck with me. It's not a nice, pretty number. I think there's like 12 or 13. So sorry. I mean, it's not going to be anything cool or catchy, but let's just talk about them. So the first one is Slightly South of Simple by Kristy, Woodson, Harvey. So this is a series. It's her Peachtree Bluff series. You guys you're probably sick of hearing me talk about it because I've been talking about it a lot lately because I read it toward the end of the year. But the series is about three sisters and their mother all getting together at like a lake home or a beach home and confronting their issues with each other, their issues in life. I just love those kind of stories. And I think this one balances kind of like sweet, cute stuff with like harder hitting stuff. And I would definitely say it's more women's fiction, but it does have some romance if you're interested in that. It's got the sister relationships. I am thoroughly enjoying the series. There's 4 of them and I have the 4th to read and I've really loved it. Next is Hello Stranger by Katherine. So this one I think holds a special place for me because I read it and it came out right when Katherine I got to see her and meet her right before the book came out. And I had read an art copy. And so it was super special for me this summer, getting to read it, meet her all before the book came out. It was super fun. And so this is about a girl who is, she gets face blindness. She's in this accident and they don't know if it's temporary. They don't know if it's permanent. They don't know what's going on. And she's an artist and she's got this big thing coming up. And so she's a portrait artist at that. So not being able to see faces when you are a portrait artist is a challenge. And so then there's that. There's also kind of a love triangle going on with one of them is a vet, and I love vet stories. I don't know why, but I loved this book, and like I really was just along for the ride. And so there's like a twist in the end that I didn't see coming. A lot of people did, but I didn't, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the topic of face blindness it's a real thing. And it's something that I find fascinating and that I kind of went down a rabbit hole on. And talking to Katherine, she did a lot of research on it. And it was just very, very interesting. So not only was it a cute read, but it like probed me to go further. And if you don't love love triangles, I would not say this is one. This is not heavy in that element at all. Next is The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie by Rachel Linden. This is another one that I read, I think, toward the end of the year. And this one's fascinating, too, because this is about this woman who has this aunt who has these magical lemon drops. And if you take a lemon drop, you can go back to a pivotal point in your life, whether it's a breakup, a loss, like she lost her mother, all these different like pivotal points in her life. And you can live a day seeing what would have happened if that didn't happen. So kind of the road not taken, which I am obsessed with that trope. So if you guys have recommendations of that trope, it's probably my favorite, The Road Not Taken. And it was so interesting and so like personally I was like, what would I go back to? And heartbreaking because you can only go back for a day. And so and what happens if your life is better on the other way? Like what happens? It was so good. I highly recommend. By the way, none of these are in order. Like this is just a random order. Next is None of This Is True by Jewell. And this is her newest release about a podcaster and this gal going through some stuff. So this podcaster talks about women who have kind of been through really hard things and made it through. Now, the 2 women in the story meet at a bar one night because they're both turning 45. They're birthday buddies. They were born in the same hospital, all the things. And the one who's not the podcaster says, hey, like I'm still going through some stuff. Let's like spin your podcast and let's like do this together. So they start this project and things are not what they seem. And yeah, I don't want to say much more. I read this physically and really enjoyed it, but I've also heard the audio is really great because you get the podcast elements, and the podcast series is then turned into a Netflix show. And so all of that I've heard is very well produced on the audiobook, but I thoroughly enjoyed reading it in print as well. And so kind of it feels like short chapters because you're getting blurbs of like all the other things too. So I really enjoyed it. Next is The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. So I liked the push. I wasn't like astounded by the ending like other people were. And so I was really excited / nervous to pick up the next Ashley Audrain. And I loved this one. So this one is about like it's suburban drama. Thriller, but suburban drama really at its finest. It's about this block party, a suburban block party. And everybody overhears this one mom losing her mind on her 10-year-old. And then that 10-year-old falls, like not at the party, but later falls out of the window. And we don't know, was he pushed? Was, what happened? Like what happened? And so it's, I don't want to say a whole lot more than that, but you get kind of the full cast of Neighborhood, but in a way that's really easy to understand, really easy to follow. As always, I feel like Ashley Audrain really tackles some tough topics like in the postpartum depression. This one's kind of some postpartum rage and just different mood things that go on, and I really loved it. Next is American Royals by Katherine McGee. So I think I sold a couple of you guys on this series sometime in the middle of the year maybe, but this is a YA series, which I like, shocking that it's on this list, but it's a YA series about what would have happened if America became a monarchy instead of a democracy and the Washington family ruled our country. And it's a bunch of like new adults. Maybe it's a new adult series, not young adult. I don't know how old they are, but whatever. A bunch of new adults running our country and the drama between them and the sibling relationships, and it's 2 girls and a boy, and it's so good. It is so good. Some of the books weren't as good as the others, but the first one, definitely try it out if you haven't. Next is Who We Are Now by Lauryn Chamberlain. So this one I feel like is friends in a book. This is about 4 friends who all go to, I think, Northwestern, maybe. I think a university in Chicago. So I think Northwestern. I don't know. I can't remember. But they all go to university together. And in the very beginning of the book, you find out that one of them is dead. You don't know which one. You don't know how. You don't know any of that. This is not a thriller. This is like a contemporary. But so we go back and learn about these friends and just their relationship and how close they are, and then how life kind of scattered them and how that changed dynamics, but the friendship dynamics were still there. And there's one that's kind of an unrequited love. Not really though. Like this is definitely not a romance. There's a little bit of conversation like the When Harry Met Sally, can guys and girls be friends? That conversation is definitely brought up. And it's just so good. And I was like heartbroken at the end when we find out who, even though you kind of like figure it out, still just seeing it all go down, and it was hard, but it was good. Next is A Child of My Own by Vanessa Carnevale. And this is about 2 friends, one of which has fertility problems. The other couple decided they never wanted kids. And so they became embryo donors basically to this friend. And so they gave their, sperm and egg to her good friend. And so they could have the baby. Now that baby is 9 years old. And our donor couple decides maybe they want some babies, and because there's still one embryo frozen that the other couple did not use. And so they're saying, well, maybe we want a kid, maybe we want a kid now. And so they're trying to figure that out when the husband dies. And so the donor husband dies. And so who owns the embryo? Who do you think morally has the right to it? Because both couples want it. And it's set in Australia, I think. So I don't know how accurate the laws are, but and also there's some legality around, if you have an embryo with somebody and one of them dies, do you have consent to use it? It was so mind boggling. And as somebody who's been through fertility stuff, it was mind boggling and really made me think. And I really enjoyed it. I love books, clearly, that make me feel something and or make me think and go down rabbit holes. Next is the Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer. So this one is on a lot of people's list this year. This is basically Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, but make it bookish. And instead of getting golden tickets, this one author, it's similar. This one author, he wrote this beloved children's series, and now he has written one more book. And there's this big competition to see, for whoever wins gets rights to the book. And our main character, she is trying to adopt this little boy. She's a teacher. She's trying to adopt this little boy in her class, but she doesn't have the money to go through it. So she was also like a big fan of this author, and so she goes and competes. And I loved it, and I loved that it was not like a stereotypical. The storyline did not it didn't follow any sort of formula, and that felt really cool. Plus, it was just really whimsical, really fun. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people have said it's kind of like a hug in a book, and I think it is. It's super sweet. Next is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So this one is about a ghostwriter who is trying to write about love, and she's kind of in a personal love rut. And then her father dies, and that there is a huge exploration of grief. And this book had me feeling things. Like, it definitely had me like emotional. And there's a romance as well. And that, like, I don't really want to say a whole lot about it, because there's a paranormal twist that normally, like, people say there's a paranormal twist. I'm like, no, thanks, but no thanks. But this one was really good. And I just loved the combination of both, like, the exploration of grief and in a way that felt so realistic, because, like, life goes on, but it doesn't for you, and just it felt so realistic. And it was a great combination of, like, some funny times, some hard times, some romance, just all the things to make a perfect book for me. Next is Finding Noel by Richard Paul Evans. So this one is interesting too. It's about two people who meet in a diner, I think, and they both have different issues going on, but our main character is trying to look for her sister. They got adopted separately when they were children, and she is older by a margin, and her little sister was like 4, and they got separated. And you guys, just reading that scene of, like, when they got separated, and just knowing how close my girls are. I don't know what the age gap is between these sisters, but and so they're working together to try to find Noel, which is her sister. It's set at Christmas time, because Richard Paul Evans always are, but this definitely has, like, holiday vibes, so maybe save it for that. But it's not, you could also read it anytime, and I just will say it pulls on your heartstrings. Again, a sweet romance, but with so much more going on. Next is Maternity Leave by Julie Halpern. So this is one, like, a chick lit women's fiction, whatever you want to call it, but it is just about this woman who, she was a career woman and then had a baby on maternity leave. At first, she's, like, really not loving the parenting gig, and then she kind of does, and it's just, like, one, as a mother, and I can, like, put myself easily in that position of a first-time mom, and, like, there's so much hard, but so much good, and, like, just the overwhelming love for your baby, it's just a lot. And the discussion of maternity leave, most of you, I think, are here in the States, and the maternity leave policy is terrible. It doesn't matter, like, I don't know, I guess every company is slightly different, but we don't, like, I have a friend right now who's pregnant, and her husband gets more paternity leave than she gets maternity. She gets 0 paid maternity leave. And so, like, it's just crazy. And that whole discussion of maternity leave and working moms and stay-at-home moms, I almost said, like, versus, but not versus, because either way it's hard, and either way, like, it's not, there's so much gray, and there's not one that's better. And just trying to figure out, like, as a stay-at-home mom, there's days that I'm like, gosh, could I please go to work? And I know my working friends are like, gosh, can I just stay home? There's days of both, and it's I don't know, I just loved it and could really relate, especially given the stage of life that I'm in right now. And then last is A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh. So, gosh, a couple of Christmas reads. This one is a really fun one about, it's a brother's best friend romance, and they have to take a cross-country trip to get home for Christmas. And he kind of unknowingly broke her heart a long time ago, and so she's a little resentful. He's a cinnamon roll. She just wants to, like, get there, get it done, get over with this time together. He wants to, like, drag it out and do all the fun stuff, and it's so cute. Again, it's got a good balance of heaviness and like levity, but I would say it's definitely more sweet and light. But it was just so fun. So those are my favorites. Those are the ones that I actually remember now, because like I said, I have another list of a handful more that could make it 23, but if I don't remember all the details and I'm not excited to talk to you about them, then why am I talking about them? You know, so that's my list. Again, I'm hoping for more like standouts this year because they're all kind of mediocre, but you know, that's that. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.